Ronan Farrow is going to be with us in a second. I really admire the work that he's done journalistically. I don't know that I've ever seen a more impressive young journalist than Ronan Farrow. He is at the center. His reporting is at the center of the Trump indictment. So we'll get to that in a second. We'll also get to these promised photographs of the Morris twins to test Amin. How does the room feel? Because Amin seems super confident here, but it seems like everyone in the room is questioning whether he can tell the Morris twins apart. Again, they have the same tattoos, and very few people can actually tell them apart. Amin is claiming an expertise that I don't believe he has, that we're about to test. And he's got a 50-50 chance of guessing and getting it right and proving me wrong.
Hey, put your phone away. I think you're Google imaging.
I think he's been cheating for a while.
I'm playing a game. I'm playing a game.
Put your phone down. I don't trust you.
That's what I do.
Put your phone down.
Okay.
It calms me down, Roy. I have anxiety.
My God.
Okay.
My God.
Do the rest of you feel like he's going to succeed here?
No.
I mean, he's got a 50-50 shot,
Look,
even if he doesn't know.
I'm starting to worry a little bit. I think he can do it.
Yeah, I'm going yes.
Yeah.
Here's the inside scoop on why I'm confident. I have twins. I have identical twins, actual identical twins. So I'm accustomed to looking for tells.
I just learned this about you.
Well,
I did too.
If we're doing bona fides, I mean,
a guy.
I'm married to a twin.
There you go.
But I can't tell them apart.
You can't tell your wife
No.
apart.
I misspoke. I meant the Morris twins. I meant the. Yes.
Oh my God!
Whoa.
Revelation.
I can tell my wife and her sister apart in baby pictures. I meant the more. I'm saying like you're giving some bona fides because you can tell your twins apart. Like that gives you like. Well, I was just proving that I am also close to twins.
Backpedaling.
Wow, you are defensive and
No.
backpedaling.
You sound funny right
rattled.
now.
You guys want to pull up pictures of my wife and her sister as
if
kids?
you're offering.
I'm just saying I know them. I mean, that's,
Chris's skin and facial hair are the same color right now.
He's very red.
We are not questioning whether you actually know this or not. We are laughing at how quickly you are backpedaling from your wife hearing or hearing from anyone.
She doesn't listen to Chris.
The possibility that you can't tell her and her sister apart.
I'm just red. I'm really not nervous right now.
You're just simply red. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at LeBatard Show.
Love that
Is
band.
Chris Cody embarrassed or is he simply a red person? Before we get to the photos, the promised photos and this promised test, though, I was told that we have a Wiz Khalifa foot poem of some sort, and I don't know any of the backstory here.
Boom.
I don't know. I need context.
He revealed his feet, and social media was very mean to him. And honestly, his feet aren't that
Are they
bad.
I'm gonna look
LeBron
them up.
levels?
Let me
On
see
a
these
sc-
things.
on a
No, they're
scale
not
of-
LeBron level.
Okay.
No, they're not.
They're not LeBron level.
But the internet is a very mean place, and they dragged him. And several months later, Wiz Khalifa decided to do something about it.
He also fights MMA too, and that takes a toll on your feet, kicking and kickboxing and trying to block kicks and stuff. Like that's
I mean,
very dangerous.
These aren't great feet, by the way. You guys are saying they're good. Like they're not
they're not
as
LeBron,
bad as
though.
LeBron, but they're on the scale. They're getting there.
LeBron's feet are throwing up gang signs. Like
Yeah, but he at least has been on his feet playing like. What's Wiz Khalifa's
No,
excuse?
and
I know he kickboxed, but come on, he's not doing as much as LeBron.
I mean,
His feet. I'm just telling you, it's not good. You guys made it
he
seem like
trains MMA several times a week, and for several years,
I
to
love
the
you,
point that
Wiz
Marty
Khalifa.
Fish wants to fight him.
That'd be a good fight.
Yeah, he wants to fight him.
Can we put that on, Dan?
We've been trying. Wiz Khalifa is ducking Marty Fish.
We'll see if we can put that together when we move to the new studios.
I didn't talk to anybody. I don't know anything.
I mean, when we talk about, because I think a lot of people do not know the ravages of basketball on the feet, but even by those standards, LeBron's have taken an unusual beating, correct? But there are a lot of feet in the NBA that look like that because nobody really understands how much those guys are doing with their feet.
Yeah, and bear in mind, when they wear your favorite sneakers, they're not wearing the sneakers off the rack. They're getting orthotics in there. It's molded to their foot specifications. But yeah, like athlete feet in general, not athlete's foot, the condition, but athlete feet, the feet of athlete tend to be hideous things.
Soccer players too.
I probably shouldn't say this, but Hope Solo's feet. Oh my God! Like I was like, oh my God, you're a goalkeeper,
and she's a keeper. Yeah.
One of my favorite things throughout the history of this show is Roy. Whenever we talk feet, nobody hates feet more than Roy. Like Roy just keeps making noises back here, like, "Ugh, can we move on?" Like, what is it about with you and feet?
No, it's man feet. I hate,
show him your feet.
hate,
Chris, show him your
hate man
feet.
feet. If you, I will punch you in the face.
Not
But,
on me,
fire
man.
today if you do that.
Roy, but what about like the foot of an athlete who's a woman? So it doesn't look like the delicate foot in the commercial. It looks like an athlete's foot.
I never really noticed. So
Really?
Yeah, but just everyday man
Gnarly.
feet, let alone athletes. Like, no, get that away from me.
I don't know why.
I have pretty good looking feet, by the way.
Well, I would never. I would never.
I've
venture
been
to
I've
look.
been told multiple times by different.
You don't look
unrelated
like
people.
someone who has good-looking feet.
What does that mean?
Wow, whoa!
So the-
I have model quality feet, is what I've been told.
That's all right. Let's-
stunning.
let's see the feet.
Now I have to see it.
Now we
Yeah,
have
now
to
we
see
gotta
it.
see it.
Now,
I'm gonna put my
come
head
on.
down
You
on
got
the desk.
Here.
you got to pony up.
Now we got to pony up.
Pony
These are-
up.
These ain't free.
Like this is like internet foot fetish stuff.
Pretty much.
Only fans.
Only feet.
Only Dans. We're gonna do an Only Dans with Amin, where we should, how much is it gonna cost to see those model like feet?
Everyone's got to pony up $20.
no,
Yeah, no,
$20
no.
bucks.
not at all.
I'll look it up on the
No,
internet.
Not at
All
all.
right, well, Joel, the only feet. It's a minimum three months.
Can we haggle you down?
How do you know that?
Would have done it for $2.
$2 from each person is the
Two?
$2 is the opening bid to see. I mean, it's just
That's not even $10.
you
Yeah,
have a group
See,
of
now that's how you
people
auction
here, and
Call
you,
back.
you should be proud of these
one.
feet if what you're saying is true. But it's one of a number of lies, evidently, that Amin is telling in the Stugotz seed today. Let's get to the Wiz Khalifa poem, though. He did
Great
this in
hands,
response
too, by
to
the
the
way.
haters.
What's up, y'all? It's Wiz Khalifa here. Been hearing a lot of talk on the internet, you know. I usually don't address things, but I figured I'd address it in this way because I like to express myself. And this is how I like to express myself. I wrote a little poem. It's called Stop Making Jokes About My Feet. Stop making jokes about my feet, because that shit ain't funny. Y'all keep making jokes about my feet, but I got money. You ain't gonna say it to my face, but you'll talk about me when I'm gone. Your toes probably look like that too, but you got nail polish on. When I seen all those tweets, you can't imagine how I felt. I get pedicures, but my feet still dry. So don't laugh, send help. Stop talking about my feet, because that shit ain't funny. Y'all keep making jokes about my feet, but I got money. When I log online, I seen all types of disrespect. Bunch of niggas talking shit. Not one nail tech. Talking crazy about Wiz Khalifa, like your shit's so neat. Look down past your phone and take a picture of your own damn feet. Stop making jokes about my feet, because that shit ain't funny. Y'all keep making jokes about my feet, but I got money.
It seems to be a recurring theme there.
That was
Got
the hook
money.
of the poem.
Yes, he's a wealthy man. I mean, usually we get the payoff here. You're going to have to show us your feet here before you leave. You're not going to be able to.
How about this? I got this. If you get the twins thing wrong, you have to show us your feet.
In front of the hell green screen.
What do you mean green screen? That's hell.
That's actual hell.
I'll
What
go
are you
to
talking
hell.
about?
I'm going.
Yeah, you go to hell.
No,
You
no,
get out of here.
man.
Thank you for
No.
volunteering for that, and thank you for
No.
respecting the rules that no one around here is respecting anymore.
I have some regrets, but my feet are dry.
Let's put up on the screen here. This is largely a visual joke, but we'll try and help with people who are just listening via audio.
Yeah.
We are putting on the screen in front of Amin.
Or they can go to youtube.com/LeBatard and Friends and just see it for themselves.
Thank
Good job,
you.
but I will do my best to describe the action.
Very good. Let's put it up on the screen
Okay, it's a black guy,
with a beard.
and
Kind of looks like one of the Morris twins.
Yeah, it looks like one of the Morris twins.
Yes,
He's
definitely.
he's got teeth.
Left eye is a little more closed than the right eye.
So let me ask a question before I answer this.
How confident do you feel right now?
I feel fairly confident. I just want to know, is it possible to cycle through? Like, they don't have to be side by side, but can we cycle through?
You want to see them next to each other?
Not
You
next,
said-
not
but
next,
you
to,
said
not
you-
next to each other.
Hold
Not
on.
next to each other.
Hold on.
You said you'd recognize them.
There's a great thing happening right now with production. Someone found the image and doesn't know who it is, so we're
Okay,
trying to
this
find.
is
Hang
excellent.
on, so we're doing.
Oh,
all right.
they're side by side. This
All
one's
right.
easy.
Oh no! Don't do that!
This one's
No,
easy.
why'd you
this
do
is-
that?
Come
Take
on,
that down.
video
Take that
team.
down.
Video
Don't-
team.
That one's easy.
At least they
Come
took the numbers
on.
off.
Like, what is that?
Like,
Yeah, but the photo that we sent you, the main one.
I don't remember it.
Put that photo back on.
Put the other one back up. There
All
you
right,
go.
it's a black guy again. He's got a
Juju knows
beard.
this right answer.
Is
Juju
it the
knows.
same
How does he
as
know?
that guy
He was
as
in hell.
before?
Because he found the pictures.
Why
He's
are
the
you
one that
back
sent
He's
so
back. He's
fast?
helping.
to help us produce
He's
the
help-
segment.
help-
Help.
He's resurrected.
Because it's going so well.
Yeah. All right, back to the photo. It's a black guy.
EP then.
So
Amin doesn't know. I can
I
just
do.
tell.
No, I know. It's Marcus.
That's correct.
You want to know what the tell is? Should I talk? Should I give everybody the tell? So, because I have twins, and Chris, you would know this because you're married to a twin, you haven't had twins. When the twins come out, there's two babies, baby A and baby B. Baby A is the one that is closer to the canal, and baby B is the one that's further up. Because when it comes out of the canal, baby's head gets squished, baby A always has the longer face, while baby B has a rounder face.
Wow.
And so
Put the back up together. Put the one up with both of them now so we can see what he's talking about.
Markieff has a longer face, Marcus has a rounder face.
In other words, Marcus has a smush head and Markieff got a long
So the
head.
longer face is on our left here, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
god.
the side by side also is distracting because Markieff is also taller by like an inch and a half or something like that. So
Why would they do the same tattoo thing?
because they're twins.
They don't need to do the same.
No,
tattoo.
I'll tell you,
Because it's
twins are
awesome.
weird, man. The twin thing is weird. I'm telling you, man. You think like, oh, I want to be different. Like, no, man. They
Put
like
it on.
being the same.
Put it on the poll, Juju at LeBatard Show. Are twins weird? Roy, bring us home.
And you know it.
You know, EPing takes a lot of work. Juju just tried to admit Ronan using an eyeglass case as a mouse.
Wow, that sounds like I came in an exciting part of the conversation.
I mean, it does look like a mouse. I guess.
Left-handed, Ronan, by the way.
Yeah, that
Left-handed.
definitely looks like a mouse.
Executive
I'm
producing is hard. We have this guy on a lot. We cannot have him on enough. He's doing some of the most important journalism you will find anywhere. He's one of the best investigative reporters in the world, and his reporting on Harvey Weinstein won him the Pulitzer Prize. He's the one who produced the first detailed account of payments and the National Enquirer. His book, his podcast, Catch and Kill, have been at the center of explaining to you how some of this stuff happens. Ronan, thank you for making time. I know you're very busy. The indictment, I don't know how much of your reporting is in the indictment, but it seems like a great deal of it. So I've got a lot of questions, and I'll get to as many of them as quickly as I can. Which of the people involved, Dorman, Karen McDougal, any of the reporting, Stormy Daniels, which of the ones do you think is the most damaging?
Well, first of all, it's always great to be on, Dan, and you know, it's a welcoming place here. That's not true across all of the media, and you always want to have a thoughtful conversation, so I appreciate that. You know, second of all, a lot of reporters did a lot of great work over the years, not just me, on these hush payments around Donald Trump. At least one that got punted to his personal lawyer, Michael Cohen. That's the payment to Stormy Daniels that a lot of listeners might be familiar with from that being all over the news. That's part of this indictment. A big chunk of the charges are specifically related to Donald Trump reimbursing Michael Cohen for that hush payment and covering up those expenses. But then, as you point out, there are these other characters that enter into this indictment, including some from stories that I worked on. You mentioned the doorman at Trump Tower who came into knowledge of a supposed rumored Trump love child, that he had an affair that resulted in him fathering a young woman who's now around my age. We never uncovered verification about the paternity question. I, of all people, had no desire to dig into the underlying kind of family drama questions, paternity questions, and didn't consider those news. But I did believe at the time, and still do, that the transaction, the payment, which was made through the National Enquirer, through AMI, to that doorman to buy his silence, it gave him a $1 million penalty if he ever breathed a word about it. That was real. So whether the underlying rumor was or not, we documented, and I looked at the contracts associated with this election season payment. We now know that that payment came on the heels of a meeting between Donald Trump and the people at AMI, the parent company of the National Enquirer, in which a deal was struck where there'd be this scheme that the Inquirer would go out and find unflattering stories. David Pecker, it says in this indictment from this week, volunteered to be the eyes and ears of the campaign to look out for that kind of damaging information, and then that they would buy it and sit on it, this practice known as catch and kill in the tabloid world. So that's right at the center of the statement of facts that was released by prosecutors in Manhattan this week. And then an additional story I worked on about a payment that happened several months after that. This is, again, all relatively late in the election cycle, the last time around. This payment was from AMI, the National Enquirer, to Karen McDougal, this former Playboy model who had an affair with Trump. She says he's sort of intermittently denied that over the years, but it seems pretty clear that it's true that he did. And here again, who cares on the underlying affair? That's obviously personally significant to Melania Trump and perhaps others in the family, but not significant to me as a reporter. However, I really felt strongly at the time that because of the proximity to the election and the fact that even before all of these players around Trump were kind of forced to admit to this, they ultimately signed a non-prosecution agreement with federal prosecutors, where in exchange for being let off the hook, they said, yeah, this all happened. And even prior to that, I was very aware that these payments were significant, were news, and were of questionable legality. So it's interesting, but not terribly surprising to see them now figure in direct charges against Trump. And yes, to your question, a lot of it is territory that I reported on.
And most damaging, in your view?
Well, I'd put this in the broader context. A lot of your listeners might have heard this kind of analysis. There are questions about the viability of this case in Manhattan. It's not the most serious of the charges looming against Donald Trump. Certainly, I believe it's newsworthy that there was an elaborate scheme to conceal stories and then in turn conceal the trail of money behind all of this. I feel the reporting has held up very well. The fact that it's a basis for these criminal charges is, I think, a testament to that. That said, if you look at the charges related to, potential election rigging in Georgia, the potential charges that may emerge around the January 6th probe, there are obviously other cases against Donald Trump which might result in much more serious penalties. This case in New York, rather than comparing which of these transactions are around the hush money schemes in the election season is the most significant, they're all going to be significant because even though they're charging on some of these Stormy Daniels repayments, because that's a concrete business accounting problem that he, mislabeled his repayments to Michael Cohen, essentially. They're going to have to bring in evidence of all of these payments, the entire scheme with the National Enquirer, because they need that to bolster their case. They need that to establish, it was a scheme to defraud voters and not just to protect him personally. So, those are all going to interlock and be of kind of symbiotic importance within this case. But I think the way I'd answer your question is to say, relative to the other cases that are out there and that may soon come to a head about Donald Trump, we're not looking at the most serious of the charges here. The business accounting charges, there's 35 of them. They're misdemeanors typically. The prosecutors in New York are seeking to elevate those into felony charges by saying, hey, they're typically misdemeanors, but in this case, the statute allows us to charge as a felony because all of these people were working together to misrepresent the expenses in the interest of committing another crime. And in this case, that's going to be, we don't know exactly which statutes they're relying on, but something in the area of violating election law on either a federal or state basis. All of this, even if they prevail in that somewhat novel kind of bootstrapped legal argument, it only carries 3-4 years prison time as a maximum penalty. I'd be absolutely shocked, even if they do prevail, if they got anywhere near that on the sentencing side. And again, them prevailing is certainly a big question mark. So I think, people who are watching the news cycle around Trump, which I appreciate, some people may be fed up and done with it by now. but you're going to be seeing a lot more of him, and in the context of a number of these cases.
Ronan, you sat down with both the doorman, Dino Sajidin, and Karen McDougal. What was the most surprising thing you learned in speaking to them?
You know, the thing that was apparent from the beginning was that this was a larger pattern with Donald Trump, that Donald Trump has a system of deception around him. And one of the things that I was struck by in my interviews, and both of these are probably best represented. I mean, you can go back to the original New Yorker reporting I did, but also I then did deep dive interviews with all of the people you're talking about in the Catch and Kill podcast. So if you go on your podcast app and you look at the, I think it's the 8th and 9th episodes of that series, one is Karen McDougal's story and one is the doorman's story. And it kind of walks you through this entire scheme around Donald Trump. So the fact that this was not just a one-off here, a one-off there, this was sort of a window into his practices and a lot of deception around him that was much larger and more systemic was apparent to me from the start. And I was struck by the doorman, Dino Sajidin, saying to me he had grown up on the streets of Brooklyn in a slightly different time when kind of mob connections and mob violence and mob grease payments were all much more prominent and out in the open. He's in his early 50s now. And he was remarking how in Trump Tower, he saw a lot of those same traits that this guy who's the COO rather, of the Trump organization at the time, Matthew Calamari, that's really his name, was this kind of like hulking, muscle-bound giant figure. And he'd do this kind of Goodfellas thing of like staring you in the eye and grabbing your hand and squeezing it really hard and continuing to shake until you really like admitted what he wanted or said like, yes, I get it. And he described some of these meetings where, the blinds would be shut and you'd be in like a dim office and they'd be like, you need to drop this rumor. You're like family to us, but you got to drop it or all that's going to change. This is all according to Sajidin's account. So, you can buy it or not, but it accords with a lot of the accounts that I've heard from a lot of people around the Trump organization, which is there was a kind of thuggish, like grease the palms, and if that doesn't work, intimidate someone leadership in that company. And I think we saw a lot of the consequences of putting that in the White House over the course of Trump's presidency. And that's at the heart of all this, right? Like the fact that he's the first president to be criminally charged in this way, and that there are so many pending cases against him does show us that, if you put someone where there's evidence of kind of systemic disregard for the rule of law in that position, you're going to have years of legal fallout.
Juju, put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you believe the guy's actual name is Michael Calamari?
Matthew.
Yeah.
Matthew
Calamari. My
Matthew
bad.
Calamari.
That's the part I got wrong. My bad.
He reached for the sunglass case again as a mouse.
Now that we're
Just
here.
start using it as a mouse. Like willpower is going to just turn it into one.
Ronan,
Yeah, I mean, it's this whole story is so chock-a-block with characters that seem, if they were in fiction, they'd be overwritten. But no, he's a real dude, and has not wanted to comment on this stuff, understandably.
Ronan, what do you say to people who say minor crimes, witch hunt?
I think a lot of that is kind of fair on some level, right? Because they are minor crimes in this particular case. And yeah, I think that the DA in Manhattan is according itself with considerable professionalism and like taking every step to not lean into the political circus element of it. And they do indeed charge these kinds of, tax and accounting fraud crimes all the time. So although there are some ways in which the case is extraordinary, there are also ways within the case in which it functions kind of as business as usual for prosecutors. That said, to this point about witch hunt, I mean, that's an old political tactic. That's a line that Donald Trump throws around a lot. If what you take witch hunt to mean is like this is a kind of an unusual concerted effort to duct tape together minor charges to bring a case against Donald Trump, I think that's like a fair legal analysis. I think that's a pretty rational position one can have. They're going very hard on a scheme that without a doubt was ethically questionable, was bad for voters, was deceptive, that I think was probably illegal, but that is all told in terms of what you can actually make stick. I mean, this is just me putting my lawyer hat on, fairly small ball. So again, I think we'll all be watching some of these other cases from other prosecutors and seeing how they evolve as well.
Juju, bring us home.
Yes, sir. Ronan, I always enjoy your segments, brother. You're so informative and so well-spoken. Oh, my goodness. One question, though. Your skin is literally glowing off the screen, and your hair is phenomenal. Can you share any tips, brother? Because my face is
happy
not
you
the
said
same.
that. I tried to run to the gym between meetings, and then I didn't have time to shower. So what you're seeing here is just sweat.
Wow.
It's just
A natural glow.
Radiant. You are radiant. It is the radiance of excellence. Thank you, Ronan. Always appreciate your time. See you later, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Ronan.
good to be here. Have fun, guys. See you on the next one.
Matthew Calamari.
Matty Calamari.
Didn't want to talk. Shrimp.
Oh,
this guy's
no.
today.
Mike, why you acting all crabby?
Oh, no.
I'm not eeling what you're doing.
Hey!
Dan, you want to participate in a Squid Game?
I do not.
No.
Been a starfish today.
Oh, whale.
Oh, this segment is really starting to flounder.
You've got to be kidding me.
Finding Nemo.
Almighty. I mean,
Feeling a bit clammy right
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa, whoa.
Take the bass out of your voice.
now. I apologize.
the bass.
You did that one on purpose.
Oh, I love doing this because I just feel all the endorphins.
We're starting
Yeah,
the
we're
show.
starting. Yeah, we started the
Starting
show. Are you doing a
He
cameo
is
right now?
doing a cameo. He's
Boy.
been churning through the cameos.
The chair
during
gets
the
everybody.
breaks. Yeah.
He wants an impersonation real quick. Here we go for the cameo and for the show as well. Now, Bobby, this comes from your brother Alex. He wants to wish you a happy birthday. He says, you like the Knicks? I'm sorry about that. You like LeBron? That's awesome, but you're a Jets fan. Now, Stugotz is a Jets fan, and I'm in the Stugotz seat right now. Hey, Billy's here. Hey, Billy. I was telling Sasha, Michelle, Malia that you're pretty handy around a bottle of champagne. Champagne.
Oh, look out. Everybody be careful. Billy's about to send
Happy birthday, Bobby.
a cork rocketing
Not the board.
through. There it is. Look at him. A great celebration.
We just broke a monitor in here.
Perfect punctuation as we leave the Clevelander. Billy comes in from his day off to destroy
My uncle lost
something.
an eye that way, by the way. Yeah.
Champagne.
You really did?
Uncle Mike, R.I.P.
Oh, I'm about to say,
Yeah. Also, Theo from the Real Road.
Yeah,
Road
but he
Rule
got a
Challenge.
fake one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's back.
Uncle,
be my
So did my
baby
Uncle Mike,
tonight.
R.I.P. My mom's late brother, Mike. He had one eye, one glass eye, Billy. And it was because of a cork bottle.
the drinks
cork bottle?
are now flowing.
Margaritas, baby.
Yes,
Margarita,
Martini
though,
glass
we're having
full
the
of champagne.
drinks. I've gotten very spoiled by tequila that's not well tequila that I could taste in these giant Clevelander drinks. But everyone enjoy. The sober ones are Ramadan, Amin,
Yep.
who cannot
I
have
hope you have an
anything
easy fast, by the way.
and is
Thank you.
jealous, and Mike
Not
Schur,
jealous.
where it's about 7 a.m. in the morning, wherever it is he is, so he's not going to have margaritas now.
It's 5 p.m. somewhere, Dan.
And Tony's sober too, right?
I'm also sober, Dano.
Tony, why are you always eating?
because he's
I
sober.
didn't think he was going to throw it to me, to be honest.
Sobriety,
sober
man,
this
it
year.
has a cost.
Mike Schur is with us now, and you've been to the Clevelander one time. We are leaving here today, officially our last show. What are your memories? What are your memories of your one time here at the Clevelander?
They're all bad. I checked in to the hotel behind a bachelorette party and also in front of a different bachelorette party. And they came out and offered all of them pina coladas, I think. And they offered me a pina colada. I declined. It was 11 in the morning. Then I dropped my stuff in the room, and I just sort of walked around and explored South Beach a little bit. And then realized as I walked around, it was one of the most clutch moves in travel history. I was like, you know what I think I'm going to need tonight? Earplugs. And I found a CVS and I bought earplugs. And if I hadn't gotten those earplugs, I would not have been able to sleep the night before I had to appear in the studio for your show. I barely got to sleep. I slept for about 4 hours because the party was going strong at 3 a.m. So I slept from like 2:30 to 6:30 before waking up and appearing in the studio with you fine people. It was insane. It's an insane place to do what you do. I'm happy for you that you're leaving. I know there's a lot of history. I know that it's going to be a sad day when you have to leave today for the last time.
Not at all, brother.
My God. My
Not
God.
at all.
What have you been doing?
I got to say to the audience that this is less celebration and more full flight fleeing.
just running for your lives.
Yeah.
We're like Mike Tomlin and the Steelers.
The celebration, we are having a celebration now, but it's not nostalgic. It's not vitamin C playing at the graduation. We are really happy to get out of here. Really happy.
But if you played Vitamin C right now, I'd probably get a little teary-eyed.
I'm happy to not hear the constant.
Wait,
That's
Mike,
what I went
I'll
to
miss
sleep
that.
to.
Mike,
that
you
night.
stayed at the Clevelander?
He insisted.
Yes, I wanted the whole experience. I wanted the show. I wanted to understand it. I wanted to get inside it like a real gall-dang
That
journalist.
wasn't a part
and
of
so
our
I stayed
process
at the-
ever. Sleeping at the Clevelander was never part
I
of
understand,
our creative
but I
process.
felt like from a distance that the Clevelander was an important part of the story, and so I decided to stay there. And I think it was the right decision, as miserable as it was. I was happy that I did it because I felt like I truly understood what the show was and what it was all about by staying there. So I wouldn't do it again. But
A bit of trivia that I don't think a lot of people know. I don't know if you noticed that the bathroom sink is unusually implanted in a way that is secure so that people can have sex on it without there being liability.
Is that why it's like that?
That's fun. That's a fun little nugget of trivia.
Yeah, my dad tested it all the time around here. Are you ready? Are you ready to do stat of the day?
I am ready.
Juju, that's your cue.
Start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day. Start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day. Start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day. Start of the day. It is the start of the day.
It's the end of an era, folks. It's the last show in the Clevelander, last week in the Clevelander. What a run. Am I right?
I mean, it's crazy.
I felt like it was fitting for your final week in the Clevelander to have the stat of the day be some stats about your run at the Clevelander. So here we go. There's a lot of them. It's not just one. There's a lot of them. Here we go. I went back through every single show. I listened to every single show you guys ever did from the Clevelander over the last decade or so and compiled some truly incredible stats for you. Here we go. Total number of shows that you did at the Clevelander, 2,016. Total number of minutes spent in the penalty box, 3,988. Number of times someone was sent to the ocean, 610.
Just Chris.
Which means number of times Roy said, "Whoa!" 609. He missed one. He missed one once. He missed September 18th, 2019. He
He was
missed
still
one.
developing the character.
I was in there.
Number of tubes of salves, balms, and ointments found under Billy's desk, 28. Number of times Stugotz said "the watch" in his limited fake Christopher Walken, 57. Number of weird, discursive, incomprehensible rants about the concept of freedom delivered by Dan after the Freedom Marathon. Just one, but it was interminable.
You are so very right.
Number of back in my days, 140.
No chance.
Number of disparate excuses offered by Greg Cody for why he didn't have a back in my day today, 141. Number of times Juju Gotti said, "Salute to you, my brother," 668. Number of times Dan declared that athletes are bigger, stronger, faster than ever before in that exact language, 4,320. Number of times Tony claimed he could play in the NBA, 18. Number of Y's in the fully Colombian Chris Whittingham's name, 6. Number of times Chris Whittingham quit, 1. Number of times they called Chris Cody Chris Karaoke, 1. Number of times the self-declared very young Jessica Smetana referenced the 1970s TV procedural drama Columbo, 46. Number of times someone referenced Amin being drunk, 333.
Make that
Number of times
334 now.
1,000.
Number of times an unsuspecting guest said something and you played the "Look at Me Louie" sound and didn't explain what was going on, 84.
And that's a new
Number of
soundbite.
It's a lot in a very short amount of time. Number of times Mike Ryan said he hated Bam Adebayo, 155. Number of times Mike Ryan declared Bam Adebayo the best defensive player in the NBA, also 155. Same exact number. Unpaid grid of death punishments, 12,448.
Oh, yeah, all Whittinghams.
Number of times I got white guysed for correctly identifying a hip-hop legend, 1. Number of guests who died under mysterious circumstances within days of appearing on the show, 12.
Yeah.
And the number of times that back row really brought it today, 448. Congrats on an incredible run, y'all.
Yes. Look at this.
How is Whitty still here?
It's strange. He said his goodbyes, and he's here more than he used to be before he said his goodbyes. He is here for the well tequila.
How is the champagne worse than the margarita?
You ingrates, man. You guys are killing the quality of this free booze you're getting.
I mean,
That's a good point.
nah, it's not.
Bruise.
It's worth what we paid for it.
You're right.
What's that? Is that a firecracker?
Oh, are you gonna light? You're gonna
For
light?
some reason, there's fireworks in here that we could light up.
Are we doing demolition inside the?
No, that's a bad
Don't do
idea.
this.
Literally
That's a bad
fireworks in
idea.
here.
Billy is here with fireworks, leftover fireworks
Oh, boy.
from the show. Highly questionable. You're not going to light anything?
I think he's
there, are
rummaging
you?
for a lighter right now.
No, you
Billy,
shouldn't.
don't
You're
please,
not. You're
man.
going to
No,
set the place on fire. You're going to set
The number
got
of
this.
deaths related to the show is going to go up by at least 1 if you do that.
We're not getting the payoffs of Amin's feet today, of Mike
God.
walking to the ocean, of the fireworks being lit. We're not getting any of the payoffs
We got
today.
safe fireworks here.
The fireworks won't be lit, but Mike will.
You've got safe. What do you
Hello.
got there? Oh, there it is. You've got
Oh, look at that! It's hanging from the ceiling.
that.
This
is
about explains our time here.
Yes, this is our entertainment budget right here. There it is.
It's like the Spider-Man meme.
The other way!
Or
Choo-Choo was aiming at himself.
Wow! That would have been the lamest rapper death I've ever. You would not have gotten a mural in Wynwood for that.
Thank you for going over all the shows. That must have taken a lot of time to make sure that all of your numbers were exactly correct. You still cannot be promoted. You are still an intern, but I appreciate the way that you're hustling. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Fair enough.
Light the beam.